So Judges 17, like us adultery. Where's my pen? Some, I guess 17. So it says, there was a man in the hill country. There was a man in the hill country of Ephraim whose name was Micah. And he said to his mother, the 1,100 pieces of silver which were taken from you, about which you cursed the thief, and also spoke about in my hearing, behold, the silver is with me. I looked it, I took it. And his mother said, blessed be my son before the Lord. He returned the 1,100 pieces of silver to his mother, and she said, I truly dedicated the silver from my hand to the Lord for my son in his name, to make an image carved from wood, and plated it with silver, and cast an image of solid silver. So now I will return it to you. So when he returned the silver to his mother, she took 200 pieces of silver and gave them to the silversmith, who made of it an image of silver plated wood, and a cast image of solid silver. And they were in the house of Micah. Now the man Micah had a house of God's shrine, and he made an effort in Teraphim and dedicated and installed one of his sons who became his personal priest. In those days there was no king in Israel. Every man did what was right in his own eyes. There was a young man from Bethlehem in Judah, from the family of the tribe of Judah, who was a Levite, and he was staying there temporarily. Then the man left the town of Bethlehem in Judah to stay wherever he could find a place, and as he journeyed, he came to the hill country of Ephraim, to the house of Micah. Micah said to him, where do you come from? And he said to him, I am a Levite from Bethlehem in Judah, and I'm going to stay wherever I can find a place. And Micah said to him, live here with me, and be a father and a personal priest to me, and I will give you 10 pieces of silver each year, a supply of clothing, and your substance, room, and board. So the Levite went in. The Levite agreed to live with the man, and the young man became them to Micah like one of his sons. So Micah installed the Levite, and the young man became his priest and lived in the house of Micah. And then Micah said, now I know the Lord will favor me and make me prosper, because I have a Levite as my priest. Judges 18. In those days there was no king in Israel, and in those days the tribe of the Danites was seeking an inheritance of the land for themselves to live in, for until then an inheritance had not been allotted to them as a possession among the tribes of Israel. So the sons of Dan sent from the total number of their attendant family 5 brave men from Zorah and Esherah to scout the land and to explore it. And they said to them, go explore the land. And they came to the hill country of Ephraim, to the house of Micah, and lodged there. When they passed near Micah's house, they recognized the voice of the young man, the Levite, and they turned aside there and said to him, "Who brought you here, and what are you doing in this place? And what do you have here?" And he said to them, "Micah has done this and that for me, and he has hired me, and I have become his priest." And they said to him, "Please ask of God so that we may know whether our journey on which we are going will be successful." The priest said to them, "Go in peace. The journey on which you are going is acceptable to the Lord." Then the 5 men went on and came to Lavish and saw the people who were there, how they were living securely in the style of the Sidonians, quiet and peaceful in there. There was no oppressive mastery in the land, humiliating them in any way, anything, and they were far from the Sidonians and had no dealings with anyone. The 5 men came back home to their brothers Azariah and Ezra, and their brothers said to them, "What do you have to report?" They said, "Arise, let us go up against them, for we have seen the land, and behold, it is very good, fertile, where you sit still and do nothing." Do not hesitate to go to enter to take possession of the land. When you enter, you will come to people feeling safe and secure with a spacious land, widely attended on all sides, for God has given it to you into your hands, a place where there is no lack of anything that is on the earth. Then from the tribal family of the Danites from Zerah, and from Ezra, 600 men armed with weapons of war set out, and they went up and camped at Kiriath in Judah, and therefore they have called that place Mahanadan. To this day it is west of Kiriath, and they went on from there to the hill country of Ephraim and came to Micah's house. Then the 5 men who had gone to scout the country of lovers said to their relatives, "Do you know that there are in this houses an Ephraim, an image of silver-plated wood, and a cast image of solid silver? Now therefore consider what you should do." So they turned in that direction and came to the house of the young man Levi at the home of Micah, and asked him how he was doing. Now the 600 men armed with their weapons of war, who were of the sons of Dan, stood at the entrance of the gate. Now the 5 men who had gone to scout the land went up and entered the house, and took the image of the silver-plated wood, the ephod, the tabernacle, and the cast image of solid silver. And while the priest stood by the entrance of the gate with the 600 men armed with weapons of war. When these 5 men went into Micah's house and took the plated image, the ephod, the tabernacle, and cast the image, the priest asked him, "What are you doing?" They said to him, "Keep quiet, put your hands over your mouth, and come with us, and be a father and priest to us. It is better for you to be a priest to the house of one man, or to be a priest to a tribe and family in Israel." The priest's heart was glad to hear that, and he took the ephod, the teraphim, whatever that is, and he took the ephod, the teraphim, and his image, and went among his people, the people. So they turned and left, and they put the children, the livestock, and the valuables and supplies in front of them. And when they had gone some distance from the house of Micah, the men were living in a house near Micah's house, assembled as a military, and overtook the sons of Dan. And they shouted to the Danites who turned and said to Micah, "What is your reason for assembling against us? You said, 'You have taken away my gods, which I have made, and the priests and have gone away. What else do I have left? How can you say to me, what is your reason? The sons of Dan said to him, do not let your voice of complaint be heard among us, or else angry men will assault you, and you will lose your life, along with the lives of everyone in your household. Then Danites went on their way, and Micah saw that they were too strong for him. So he turned and went back to his house. They took the adulterous things that Micah had made and his priests, and they came to Laish to a people who were quiet and secure, and they struck them with the edge of the sword and burned the city with fire. And there was no one to rescue them because it was far from Sidon, and they had no dealings with anyone. It was in the valley which belongs to Bethlehem, and they built the city and lived in it. They named the city Dan after Dan, the forefather, who was born to Israel, Jacob. However, the original name of the city was Laish. The tribe of the sons of Dan set up the image of silver-plated wood for themselves, and Jonathan, the son of Gershom, the son of Moses, and his sons were priests to the tribes of the Danites until the day of the captivity and exile from the land. So they set up for themselves Micah's silver and plated wood image, which he had made, and kept it throughout the time that the house tabernacle of God was at Shiloh. Judges 19. Now it happened in those days, when there was no king in Israel, that a certain Levite, living as an alien in the most remote part of the hill country of Ephraim, who took a concubine for himself from Bethlehem in Judah. But his concubine was unfaithful to him, and left him, and went to her father's house in Bethlehem of Judah, and stayed there for a period of 4 months. Then her husband arose and went after her to speak kindly and tenderly to her, in order to bring her back, taking with him his servant and a pair of donkeys. So she brought him into her father's house. And when the father of the girl saw him, he was happy to meet him. So his father-in-law, the girl's father, detained him, and he stayed there with him for 3 days. So they ate and drank and he lodged there. On the 4th day they got up early in the morning, and the Levite prepared to leave. But the girl's father said to his son-in-law, strengthen yourself with a piece of bread, and forward go your way. So both men sat down and ate and drank together, and the girl's father said to the man, please be willing to spend the night and enjoy yourself. Then the man got up to leave, but his father-in-law urged him strongly to remain. So he spent the night there again. On the 5th day he got up early in the morning to leave, but the girl's father said, please strengthen yourself and wait until the end of the day. So both of them ate. And when the man and his concubine and his servant got up to leave, his father-in-law, the girl's father, said to him, behold, now the day has drawn to a close. Please spend the night. Look, now the day comes to an end. Spend the night here and celebrate, enjoy yourself. Then tomorrow you may get up early for your journey and go home. But the man was not willing to stay the night, so he got up and he left and came to a place opposite Jebus, that is Jerusalem. With him were 2 saddle donkeys, and his servant and his concubine. And when they were near Jebus, the day was almost gone, and the servant said to his master, please come and let us turn aside into this Jebusite city and spend the night in it. But his master said to him, we will not turn aside into a city of foreigners who are not of the sons of descendants of Israel. We will go on as far as Gibeah. And he said to his servant, come and let us approach one of these places, and we will spend the night in Gibeah or in Ramah. So they passed by and went on their way, and the sun set on them near Gibeah, which belongs to the tribe of Benjamin. And they turned aside there to go in and spend the night in Gibeah, and the Levite went in and sat down in the open square of the city. because no man invited them into his house to spend the night. Then behold, there was an old man who was coming out of the field from his work at evening, and he was from the hill country of Ephraim, but was staying in Gibeah. And the men of the place were sons, descendants of Benjamin. When he looked up, he saw the traveler and his companions in the city square, and the old man said, "Where are you going, and where do you come from?" The Levite replied, "We are passing through from Bethlehem in the territory of Judah to the most remote part of the hill country of Ephraim. I am from there. I went to Bethlehem of Judah, but I am now going home to my house, and there is no man in the city who would take me into his house for the night. Yet we have both straw and feed for our donkeys, and also bread and wine for me and for your handmaid, and for the young man who is with your servant. There is no lack of anything." Then the old man said, "Peace be to you. Only leave all your needs to me, and do not spend the night in the open square." So he brought him into the house and fed the donkeys, and he washed their feet and ate and drank. While they were celebrating, behold, men of the city, certain worthless and evil men, surrounded the house, pounding on the door, and he spoke to the master of the house, the old man, saying, "Bring out the man who came to your house, so that we may have relations with him." This happened to Judges too. Then the master of the house, went out and said to them, "No, my fellow citizens, please do not act so wickedly. Since this man has come to my house as my guest, do not commit this sacrilege, sacrilege. Here is my virgin daughter and this man's concubine. I will bring them out now, be abused and humiliate them, and do to them whatever you want. Do not commit this act of sacrilege against this man." But the man would not listen to him. So the man took the Levite's concubine and brought her outside to them, and they had relations with her and abused her all night until morning. And when daybreak came, they let her go. At daybreak, the woman came and clapped at the door of the man's house where her master was until it was fully light. When her master got up in the morning, opened the doors of the house, and went out to go on his way, he saw his concubine lying at the door of the house, and her hands were on the threshboard. He said to her, "Get up and let us go." But there was no answer, for she had died. Then he put her body on the donkeys, and the man left and went home. When he arrived at his house, he took a knife and taking hold of his dead concubine, he cut her corpse limb by limb into 12 pieces and sent her body parts throughout all the territory of Israel. All who saw the dismembered part said, "Nothing like this has ever happened or been seen from the day that the sons of Israel came up from the land of Egypt to this day. Consider it, take counsel, and speak your minds." So tomorrow I read chapter 20 and 21. It's the last page of that Judges.